With all the uncertainty, brands are feeling displaced, and for good reason. Would you like to know about a solution to get your brand on more store shelves and into the hands of more shoppers, including online? You're invited to a free webinar that I'm hosting with ECRM and RangeMe to learn about their new platform and how it can help you jumpstart your sales. Trade shows are important, but we can't travel now. While we wait until the next expo, you need creative solutions to grow and scale your brand. At Brand Secrets and Strategies, you learn how to save valuable time and money, where you learn strategies to get your products on more store shelves and into the hands of more shoppers, empowering brands and raising the bar. This is about raising the bar. This is about solving that problem, as you mentioned, helping brands find a new way to get in front of a retailer. So please take it away.
So the coronavirus pandemic brought on several key challenges to the industry. On the buyer side, there was a lack of the ability to travel and the lack of the ability of suppliers to travel to them. Also, they don't have any time. They're so overwhelmed with addressing supply chain issues, trying to fill gaps in the logistics chain, and just, really trying to help each other out. Even retailers that are buyers that are in the non-essentials categories were pitching in to help those who are in the essentials categories just handle the volume of work that's happening. So at the same time, on the supplier end, because of the busyness of the buyers, there's a lack of access to them. So what we did at ECRM and RangeMe is we put together a bunch of different solutions to kind of address these pain points. We started off with RangeMe, and what they did was put together buyer review days. So they worked with several of their larger retail partners where they had dedicated review days, and suppliers were able to submit products, and then they would spend a few hours. All the buyers in those retailers would spend a few hours reviewing those product submissions. Then that happened in March. Then in April, ECRM launched their efficient supplier introductions. So another way to allow buyers to discover new products without taking too much time and obviously from their office or their homes. And then what we're doing in this month, later this month, is ECRM's launching its virtual sessions. And that's going to be, again, virtual meetings, but more in the format of ECRM's in-person sessions that everybody's accustomed to. So what we're going to talk about in this webinar is going to be how we're executing on all that and what buyers and suppliers can expect going forward in this new normal once the coronavirus passes.
As a small brand, what can they expect in terms of follow-up and results, and how does it, who are the buyers that you work with? We work with major accounts, so it's not, it is challenging to get into them, and this is a great step to get in front of them. And so I just wanted to kind of talk about, I think it's really good. Those would be really good questions that we can answer along the way that helps them to understand the right expectation. And I think what the right things they need to do to be successful in taking advantage of some of these services and some of these tools. So we have an option, I feel like, for each brand, no matter where they're at in their life cycle or what they're targeting. If it's small to small, if it's small to big, if it's big to small, it's kind of, we have an offering for how you can connect depending on your objectives and your lifestyle, where you're at as a company.
Yeah, everybody's reevaluating their trade show spend, their expo spend on anything, exactly. any traditional expo. People are what this whole coronavirus thing has brought to bear is they're realizing, do I really need to do that? They're getting used to doing virtual meetings. They're, everybody not getting used to, they have to. Everybody's doing it. They're so used to it. The bar's gotten lowered as far as quality of content, right? You look at any news channel, they're interviewing 3 people. One of them's fuzzy. One of them's here, So they're not as concerned with the quality of the content because everybody's knows bandwidth issues and all that. So there's just so many things that are colliding that it's going to make people rethink that in person's still going to matter, but they're going to pick their spots and they're going to be a lot more they're going to pay a lot more attention to the return that they get for every single dollar that they spend on it.
Right. And this is all about share of voice. This is all about getting in front of people. Thank you for sharing that. And go one step further. The best part about this webinar is we're going to be there to answer your most pressing questions. What is it that you need to know? What questions do you have in terms of how do you get your product onto more retail shelves and in the hands of more shoppers? And this begins with this conversation. And this begins by leveraging these unique platforms to help you make that connection. Another thing, as a side note, one of the things that's brilliant about what you guys have put together is it's FaceTime, one-on-one FaceTime. It's not about trying to trip a buyer, trip a retailer as they walk by your booth at a trade show. This gives you that dedicated time that you need to be able to communicate the value of your product and the value of the consumer that you're driving into their store. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for having us and allowing us to talk a little bit about ECRM and our services. There's definitely a lot of opportunities, and we'd love to, help any way that we can.